it's Andrea. I hope you all had a really good weekend. I did. I had a really relaxing weekend. I'm actually at my mom and my stepdad's house in southern Indiana. I'm staying here for a month while I do my family medicine rotation. So it's an away rotation, and it's great. I love being home. My mom takes great care of me, and so it's been really nice so far. So today I wanted to do a vlog about how to study for step 1. So if you are not in medical school, please turn this vlog off. Don't listen to it because this has no significance in your life and it will just bore you to tears. But if you are in medical school, then maybe you want to listen because I have some good tips about how I studied for step 1 and what I think was the best method that works for me. So maybe it'll help you. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. Let's start at first year. I don't think you need to do anything first year. I really don't. If you are freaking out and you think that you have to do something first year to prepare for the boards, the only thing I would suggest doing is to buy a copy of First Aid. It's a great tool to study for the boards. It's kind of like your Bible of everything you need to know. I'll post a picture of it down below this vlog so that you can buy it on Amazon if you want. So you could buy a copy of First Aid and start to familiarize yourself with it. And the best thing that you could maybe do is to take notes in First Aid, because the more you study something, the more familiar it becomes to you, and you start to know, when you've studied notes a million times and you know exactly where it is on the page, or you think, oh, I know exactly where that is on the textbook, but I just can't remember what it says. So when you familiarize yourself with that, it's easier to go back and keep studying it because you already know, so you can pick up and keep studying. So maybe get a First Aid and start taking notes in it. You can use it to study for your finals, actually. It's probably a pretty good tool. But other than that, don't do anything first year. Just focus on med school. Okay, so starting second year, the only thing I would do first semester, second year, is take notes in First Aid and just do really well in your classes. The best thing you can do to study for boards is to just do well in school. And remember that when you're studying things first semester, second year, there are things that you're going to need to remember in June. And so really study it to learn it and understand it and make it something that you'll remember when you have to go back and study it again in June or in May when you start studying for the boards. Okay, then starting in December, starting Christmas break, second year. I said I was going to study over Christmas break, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't. I really didn't. And I don't think that it made any difference. You could if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to make any difference in your life. So enjoy Christmas. Enjoy being with your family over the holidays. Don't study. Just don't. Okay, but starting second semester, so January, the countdown begins, and now is when you can start studying if you want. I didn't really crack down and start studying hard until spring break, but if you wanted to start in January, you could. And the best advice I would have is to get a Q bank at that time. So a Q bank is a huge bank of questions, like 2,500 questions or more, and it's a great way to learn. You just learn through experience because there's only so many ways they can ask you these questions, and you start to familiarize yourself with how the test is going to be, and that helps. So in January, I got the Kaplan Q bank, and the only reason I did that is because I got it basically for free because I had worked for Kaplan in college as an MCAT teacher, and so I got a huge discount, and so I took their Q bank. But if you can only get one Q bank, I think USMLE World is probably a more accurate Q bank for the exam. And so 3 months out from my exam, I bought World. I bought 3 months worth of it. You buy it in time, so you can get 6 months or 3 months or 1 month, something like that. So I think about 3 months out is the best time to get a Q bank. So for that whole semester, you're studying hard for your classes, you're taking notes in First Aid, and then starting spring break, start doing questions. And you really want to make it your goal to get through that entire Q bank before you take your exam. So maybe before finals, you want to get through that whole Q bank. That's a really lofty goal, but it's good to have goals. Okay, so then study for your finals, really focus on that, and then as soon as finals are over, you'll have a set amount of time until your test date. I had exactly 3 weeks until my test, And here's my best piece of advice for studying for the boards. Go somewhere peaceful and wonderful for those last few weeks before you take your test. I actually came down south where I am now to my mom and stepdad's house, and it was so great because you don't have to worry about grocery shopping or cooking or cleaning. I just could really focus on studying, and you're going to be studying hard. I really was studying maybe 12, 14 hours a day. Okay, I was probably reading blogs and on Facebook some of those hours, but I was pretending like I was studying, so that counts. So anyways, if you have a peaceful place you can go, if you have supportive family or friends, I really would do that because it makes your life a whole lot easier for those 3 weeks, and your life's going to suck during those 3 weeks. So any support you can get is going to help. Sorry, but you'll get through it. We all get through it. It'll be great. Okay, now the last thing I can say about studying for boards, and this is the best piece of advice I can give, is to just pick a system that's going to work for you and then go with it. When I was studying, I found that so many people had different advices. Is that a word? So many people were telling me different things, and I was getting just inundated with tips of how to study. And every time I would sit down to study, I would be so confused and think, well, is this the right book, or should I be looking at this other book, or should I be studying this over here? And you just get really confused. So decide what's going to work for you, and then stop listening to everybody else. Don't go on studentdoctor.net. Don't listen to your classmates, because it's just going to stress you out, and there's no right way to go about it. The best things that you can do are focus on a QBank, focus on first aid, and then the last piece of advice I have is to find some kind of pathology resource. So I actually use Golian Rapid Review Pathology, and I listen to his audio lectures, which you can find online. Some of your classmates might have copies of these. They're floating around the internet. Sorry, Golian. And I listened to those lectures while I was working out, while I was in my car, and he's really entertaining, so that was fun. But I did find the Rapid Review book to be super dense and really intimidating and hard to get through. So another resource that a lot of my friends used and loved is Pathoma, and they all did really well on boards. And so I would say if you're between Golian or Pathoma, go for Pathoma. Give it a try. I didn't use it. I did fine with Golian, but it wasn't the best. So try out Pathoma. And with those 3 resources, Pathoma or Golian, first aid, and a QBank, that's all you need, really. Maybe the only other thing is your physiology BRS. I did refer back to my physiology BRS a lot when I was studying those last 3 weeks, just to make sure I had a solid physio foundation. But that's it. On test day, it's the last 8 hours of pain before you can celebrate. The last thing I can say is to bring a ton of snacks and take breaks. Good Lord. There are so many people who go 4 hours without taking a break, and your brain is just going to be exhausted. I took a break every single hour. I had a snack. I had a drink. At the 5th hour, I took a 5-hour energy. Do whatever you got to do to power through, because it's rough. And then when it's over, celebrate! Yay, you did it! So you can all get through step 1. You're going to be awesome. Just pick a study plan and be confident. You're going to be great. And good luck!